welcome all of you to Merck Presents the India Food Safety Summit 2020. We would like to take this opportunity and platform to thank all of our honorable speakers, our delegates, and our sponsors and partners for supporting and believing in the India Food Safety Summit 2020. Especially, I would like to thank our partners and sponsors for supporting us in this. In the order of the sequence, our presenting partner, Merck, our category partners, Bruker, Sykes, Phenomenix, our technology partner, Rockwell Automation, our lab automation partner, Abbott Informatics Starlims, our nutrition partner, Hexagon Nutrition, exhibit partners, Neogen, Buki, Metla Toledo, ITC Analytical Services, Biomeru, and Indifos. Our corporate partners, Sysmex and Agilent. Our association partners, AFSTI and AIFPA, and our media partner, India Food Bear. This summit brings in all the industry chieftains of the food, dairy, and the beverage fraternity in India under one platform to discuss on the best practices and innovation in the entire food industry. Now about Synix, I would also like to tell you that Synix is one of the world's leading platform of opportunity for our delegates, our speakers, our vendors, exhibitors, sponsors, and consultants to share, exchange, interact, meet, network, and initiate promotion for creation of brand value, learning cutting-edge solutions, meeting high-profile decision makers, knowledge entrepreneurs, informative intelligence sharing globally. And now I would like to start the proceedings of the day one of the India Food Safety Summit by introducing our keynote speaker, Ms. Rachel Ong. She is the Industrial and Testing Segment Lead Asia from Merck Life Sciences to deliver the keynote address on the food, beverage, and the dairy fraternity. All over to you, Rachel.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen. Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel. So I'm from Merck. We are very happy to be the major sponsor for this two-day event. And we would like to take this opportunity to welcome all the participants and delegates. So I'll be spending about 10 minutes for this opening session to share with you what are some of the mega trends at the global aspect for the food and beverage industry, correlating some of these activities to the 2 days event, the different panels. And then last but not least, I will close off by sharing some of the regional trends. Okay. Globally, the need for food will increase 60% by 2050, which means in 30 years' time, we will need to more than double our food supply today. Okay. So what are the drivers behind the mega trend? I won't go through all the bullet points, but I'll just go through some of the examples in the different categories. On social, globally, our population is going to increase from 7 billion to 10 billion by 2050. That would actually drive volume increase for food. On the regulatory aspect, there's more and more regulation in place and harmonization. Associations like ISO, AOACs are making recommendations for food safety and quality testing, and regulatories like FSSAI or GB are actually putting more and more controls in place by country. Over to the technology aspect, on the farming part, we see more and more vertical farming coming along, especially in urban cities where there isn't enough space and there's a lot of people. That on the vertical farming, the farm need to actually maintain and control environment within the farm, and then they actually adopt digital connectivity as well. On the food safety and quality aspect that is related to the event, these 2 days, there's also a shift from the traditional microbiology testing, where you need a few days to check your pathogen, to now you only need a few hours to test whether your food is contaminated through real-time PCR or NGS. Over to economy, there's a rise in the middle class globally. The middle class actually has increased buying power, and there's also a change in the food diet. They go for more protein diet now. We are eating more protein than ever today. What does that mean for us? It will mean that we need to have more farms, more meats. That will increase the carbon footprint, right? Globally. Linking it to environmental, global warming is actually not helping. With the increase in temperature, we will have lesser and lesser farmable lands. What do? In Africa, they are actually changing the way they farm. They are digging holes in the deserts to accumulate water during wet seasons in order to make those lands farmable again. Just an example. Last but not least, customers' needs. Consumers nowadays, they are more and more like educated and they are more aware. They want transparency in their food. Okay, that would mean that on your food label, they will look at what are the sugar level, what are the fat content, etc. So that will in turn drive more safety and quality testing. So linking some of this activity to what we'll be discussing in the next 2 days. On social, food integrity will be discussed. Globally, we know that food fraud is actually a major concern. Same is the case for India. COVID-19 and its impact on food fraud risk factor. How do we prevent and manage food fraud across the entire value chain? And areas such as real-time PCR in food authenticity analysis will be discussed. On leadership and food safety, there will be CEOs who will be sharing their perspective in the food quality and safety within India. Over to regulatory. More and more antibiotics are being used in many different food types today, including seafood, including dairies. So there'll be a panel later today to talk about food allergens, where management systems, challenges of allergy immunoassays analysis, and the latest testing tool to determine the allergy level would be shared. Over to technology. On food safety revolution, this is where all your digitalization, your IoT, your blockchain solutions will be discussed. On microbial, areas like rapid tests will be talked about, and Dr. Hogo from Merck will be part of the panel guests. On test and risk assessment, methodologies for risk assessment of food contaminant and assessing mixed chemicals in food will be talked about, and my colleague, Dr. Sundram, would have some sharing in this panel. Last but not least, in terms of customer needs, nutraceutical. What is the frontline battle for consumer health? How can we make food inexpensive and safe to tackle important unmet health needs? On food fortification and health, how do we align demand and supply? And what are the opportunities and challenges within India? Last but not least, dairies is an important sector for India, and there will be 2 panels of discussion, one today on the vision towards 2025, and another tomorrow on the food safety, dairies safety and quality aspect. Here, the latest technology, challenges during and post COVID-19, and roadblocks will be talked about. Feel free to look into the agenda and join any of the panel discussions or corporate presentation. Last but not least, I'll actually close off by sharing some of the regional trends for Asia. I will not go through all the details on this slide. It looks a bit busy, but I will go through some of the areas that is actually relevant for India. So within Asia, aquaculture is the largest. Asia is the largest contributor for aquaculture because we are an export region. Japan, Thailand, and Vietnam is all exporting, and for India, they are also increasing. Sorry, my colleague came over. Yeah, India is actually increasing in export for aquaculture as well. For microalgae and insect protein, we are a bit at the infancy stage for our region. For lab-grown meat, Singapore is growing a bit faster. There's already regulation in place for clean meat sector, and yesterday there's already approval of the sales of clean meat within Singapore with one of the company. Over to the dairies trend, it's actually moving more and more towards organic, high protein, low lactose, and plant-based dairies alternative within Asia. So here on the left, I'm actually sharing some of the global dairies companies' performance, where the global companies are performing at low single digit, whereas the Asian countries are performing at high double digit growth. Okay, on alternative dairies, the CAGR for Asia is actually growing at 12%, which is actually quite high. And these are some of the products and the companies within Asia. Last but not least, on functional foods and trends, China, Japan, and India are the key drivers for the region, growing at 6% in the next 5 years. Some of the categories includes carotenoid, prebiotic, probiotic, fatty acids, and dietary fiber. And with that, that is the end of my opening session. Enjoy.
Thank you, Rachel, for that very warm opening note. And I think indeed it was very much insightful and knowledgeable as well. I'm sure the audience would really prefer and would really get a lot of insight from Merck's offerings for the food and the beverage and the dairy industry. Now, moving over, I would now like to call on stage Mr. Lysander Christophels, head of AAIT and APAC 6 from Merck. So we'll be starting the next session of Lysander in the coming 5 minutes. Lysander would be delivering the welcome note by our presenting partner Merck. So let's wait for a quick 5 minutes for Lysander to join in. Stay tuned.
put somewhere on screen.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. And we now move on to our next important session of the day, the welcome note by our presenting partner, Merck. So right after the keynote address by Rachel from Merck, we now have another, interesting session, and it's going to be the official welcome note by Merck. And to do that, I would like to invite Mr. Lysander Christoffels, head of AAIT and APAC6 from Merck. Lysander, very good morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Lysander. So, Lysander,
I
all over
cannot
to
hear you right now. Hello?
Yeah, hi, Lysander. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. So nice to have you, Lysander. So, all over to you to deliver the welcome note. And I think we're all waiting to hear from you, Lysander.
Okay, thank you very much. I can now share my screen, correct? Share screen. Can you see my screen? Okay. Can you see my screen? Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much for the invitation to speak here at the India Food Safety Summit. I hope you can see my screen. It is not at full view, but yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and excited to be part of this virtual conference. As you can see, I'm not the best experienced presenter for you, but at the same time, yeah, it's about food and not about the presentation. Yeah, thank you very much for the organizers for bringing together many industry experts in the field, and I'm very curious to engage with this new digital setup. Under the current conditions, of course, we're not able to meet and travel, and so I'm delighted to be here in this digital venue. My name is Lysander Christoffels. I'm a representative of Merck, and I'm the head of the APAC business field, which involves the sales and products in the research and lab testing business and industry business in APAC. And Merck is a proud contributor to the summit because we regard food safety as an important driver to global progress. The reasons are clear from a previous presentation that we've heard. Consistent and yeah, sufficient global supply is important for the contribution to increase global health, and remains a top priority for many nations around the world. And the title of the presentation is very simple. It's very short. Food safety is a common goal with Merck Life Science. And I want to share some of our contributions to the scientific community and to our latest research and mission in food safety. Merck Life Science is a global player servicing the food and industry and life science segment, and we serve a global community of lab technicians and scientists around the world. Our aim is to foster innovation and scientific advancement by providing our colleagues in the lab with the right tools to do research and quality control, as well as documentation. Globally, Merck has about 22,000 employees, and we serve about 1.6 million customers. We aim to be present locally with teams, and we have about 100 warehouses globally to serve all our customers. Digital transformation has already started, and we aim to constantly improve our digital engagement. And we currently have around 300,000 products on a digital platform to sell about over 100 million of customers or visitors that visit our web every year. And customers can visit our website not only to buy products, but actually to search for products, to explore information, to basically see the relevant technologies and products that they want to learn about and follow, let's say, the workflows. Merck Life Science sells about 6 portfolio brands. We sell Supalco, which are branded products for analytical chemistry. We sell Millipore products for microbiologists doing food safety studies. We sell Sigma Aldrich branded products for researchers. And of course, High Pure Water is sold as the Milliq brand. Merck is present already since 1900 in India, and it has actually a private company in India since 1967, which is about 50 years ago. So we have a long history in the country. We develop for the purpose of food. We work side by side with our customers to drive collaboration, to do global research, we support through local innovation hubs, we drive technology partnerships, and do custom solutions. The product development that we do are globally, and I will come to that later, in many of the research labs around the world. And even in India, we have product application labs where we support customers. And one of our latest innovations is shown here. It's the Assurance GDS workflow that is part of our pathogen testing program. And that allows us for the rapid detection of pathogens such as Salmonella, E. coli, or Listeria. Those are AOAC approved methods, and they are supported with what we call the immunomagnetic separation technology to improve selectivity. It's the IMS system. Generally, these are all validated per AOAC and ISO 16140 to make sure that they're all compliant, which is a very important part for food safety assurance. Merck has several customer innovation labs, customer application labs in India, China, and Singapore to work with customers and to offer, let's say, application support and application training for topics like chemical residue testing or microbiology. With the National Food Laboratory in India, we have opened a new lab, which is called the CMAT lab, of which we're very proud. It stands for Center of Microbiological Analysis and Training, CMAT, and it's really built to help professionals in the field of food manufacturing industries to resolve the challenges around food safety and food security, for example, for hazard analysis and critical control points, the HACCP. It's the audit management training. And we have completed around 58 trainings online with about 10,000 participants. CMAT hosts a series of F&B webinars, and for which we have many participants that follow these webinars to learn about documentation and workflow management. Last but not least, Merck also offers an analytics reporter, which is a scientific journal in which we present our scientific information. Let me now close off with an interesting topic around the new innovation. In our global R&D, we try to shape progress in many areas of life science, but also on the sustainability of food supply. And one of the topics where we are focusing on is looking at the opportunity to support across the globe our increasing, let's say, need for food through dietary support. The way that we traditionally produce meat by farming animals and is environmentally impactful and putting pressure on our resources such as land and water. And the USDA estimates that around 25 kilograms of dry feed is needed to generate 1 kilogram of beef. This is transferred to a protein conversion factor of 3.8% in beef, which is similar, let's say, which is about 25% for eggs. So the question basically is, how can we grow the need for food through alternative methods? And Merck actually contributes by developing technologies for what we call clean meat production or in vitro meat production, aiming to increase global protein supply for meat through cellular agricultural technologies. So basically growing meat in the lab. Not only Merck, for not only Merck, it's a new business opportunity. Many venture-backed companies are actually investing in these type of lab-based meats through new types of science. And the reasons are pretty clear and versatile. It is estimated around 70% of the global demand for meat and milk is increased by 2030. In order to increase the sustainability in the industry, greenhouse gases also need to be cut. And this can be done through lab-based meat, which cuts about 95% of the greenhouse gas emissions if you want to switch from normal-based grown meat to cultured meat. And this is all done through cell biology, which really drives new technology development. This approach involves basically meat protein structures from animal cells to be grown into the lab. And this vision actually is starting to become reality. It started with the meat or the cell-grown burger in 2013, which was presented by a Dutch scientist at the University of Maastricht. And actually yesterday, the Singapore government approved for the first time cultured meat from chicken proteins for human consumption. And they want to move very quickly now to an alternative protein type manufacturing moving forward. So it actually becomes reality as we speak. Merck works closely with partners across the sectors of academia and startups and non-profit corporations to drive this safe food development, and which is at the interface of many disciplines. Because we are actually from the pharma business and where we offer many reagents that are needed for upstream processing and growth of cells. And this is what you can see on the right-hand side of the slide. For example, cell culture media, growth factors, monitoring tools, and bioreactors are needed if you want to basically produce safe food through culturing. And these are all needed for clean meat production as well. Let's take cell culture media as an example. These are blends of about 50 to 100 specialty ingredients, such as sugars, salts, buffers, and each of them need to be sourced, analyzed, and sterilized to be used for lab-based meat production. So these can really cut a lot of the cost. So for us and for startup companies, it's extremely difficult to develop these types of cell culture-based media, and that's where our expertise comes into play. For clean meat production, one of the basics for food safety, the recipes will also need to be free of any animal-derived materials. And this is one important, let's say, scientific challenge that we need to overcome. Merck researches also the scale-up factors and the use of how to grow these cells at a larger scale using perfusion bioreactors and other technologies. And in addition, of course, these meats, proteins that need to be brought into a 3D scaffold using 3D printing. So many technologies come together to basically produce these new types of food safely. I think to close off, clean meat is a promising example where food safety and global sustainability can come together and shape the future food supply. This is a long way to go, and food safety will be on the top of our list for quality control, manufacturing, and scientific discovery. And it demonstrates that food innovation is a very important trend towards the future where many customers, suppliers, government agencies need to work together to make it happen. This leads me to thank the organizers for this insightful summit. I wish everybody a lot of success interacting, discussing, and it's a pleasure to interact with you on the Food Safety Summit. Thank you very much and have a very successful summit.
Thank you, Lysander. I think that was a wonderful, wonderful opening given by you. Very insightful and very thoughtful as well. and I'm sure the audience are going to like it. And wonderful start of the day. Thank you so much once again, Lysander. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was Lysander from Merck delivering the welcome note and address. Thank you once again. We will now quickly move on to our first panel session of the day on food fortification and health challenges and opportunities. Stay tuned. In the next 2 minutes, we'll begin the panel session.